Hey Dad, it's Dahlia. Congratulations on your new show. I know how you get, so don't be too rough on him. Love you and good luck. Bye.
Love you too, monkey. Welcome to The Raw Perspective with your host, the incomparable Uncle Laze, a.k.a. Laze Elliott, a.k.a. Lazy Laze from the world famous, kicking it with you in topics about health, politics, music, art, culture, and now, for your host, the legendary Uncle Laze.
Hey, yo. What's up, y'all? It's your boy.
Hey, yo, Laze, it's Rock.
Oh,
yo,
Rock?
Get in there and tell the people what it is, man. Let them know what this thing is all about.
Oh, come on, man.
Information.
That's what we do. We let you know what this thing is all about. We get information. Make sure you check out Rock's rant. Also, the real discussion.
Building. Dead serious. World famous. Most dangerous. MOP in the building. Shout out to our MOP family. Billy, Fame. Y'all know what this is, man. We continue to move. The mission is to continue. That's what we do. We bring the vibe. Check this out. Today we got a special show. This is the Raw Perspective, Friday at 6 o'clock. We do this every Friday, 6 p.m. Now, you know about the morning yawners. That's every morning we do the morning yawners. That's Monday to Thursday, Sunday to Thursday, actually, at 6 o'clock in the morning. And we get it popping. Y'all hear the birds. I know what this is. I've been here before. We've expanded today. Exciting. We've expanded. Now we're on YouTube. So, you know, it's a little different. We got more bells and whistles. We got more audience. We're going to have a good time today. And I got a special surprise for y'all today. Your boy Uncle Laze ain't playing. Special surprise for y'all today. I brought my sister. Before I get to my surprise, let me bring the home team in. All right, let me get my man, my co-host, my cohort, my man, my brother from another mother, Ray Abram. I need to come in the building. Ray, come on in here.
What's going on, Laze? Yes, happy Friday.
Rabin is in the building. I tell you, we'll get this thing popping, huh?
That's right.
Good. Brother of another mother for 30-something years, man. We've been doing this thing, man. And we just been rocking to other platforms. You know how we do. It's all frequency, brother. You see the hand moving? That's frequency, brother. We on that frequency. And listen, let me say this to you, man.
What's up?
We ain't going to argue about Trump today. Today, he nuts. The man's out of his mind. But we're not going to argue about Donald Trump, no politics today. We got a real important mission today. As a matter of fact, the mission is about the lady. So before I bring the queen of the day, I want to bring my sister out. Tanya Hazelhurst Stockton, host of Fresh Start. Host of.
Hey, happy Friday.
Let me tell you something, Tony. Let me tell you something. How do you feel about this changing the platform? We doing some good things, huh? A lot of bells and whistles. You got to do certain things. It's all crazy. I know, man. It's crazy. The perspective expands, you know. The perspective expands. But you know what? Without further ado, I don't even want to mess around here. I want to get to it because we got a lot to do today. I want to welcome y'all to the first Sip and Chat. You know, it's an idea I came up with about a week ago when we were thinking about something to do with OSG. And we were like, we can do something fly. How about we just have a little sip and chat? You see in the background, you see what I got back there. I got a little wine. I know T don't drink, but that's okay. I'm gonna drink enough. We got a little bourbon back there. We're gonna have a good conversation today because I got my sister, man. She's such a wonderful spirit, a beautiful woman, accomplished woman. Let me tell you something. T, I told you this before. You ladies are gonna fix the whole world for us. I want you to bring in my sister, Dr. Anissa Reilly. I want you to bring her in here, man, because this is the first time let me get this right. World premiere.
I'm in the building. What's up?
I got the music to bring you in with, because normally I'll be on the turntable and bring you in.
We gotta get some music. I'll play some music.
Yeah, we gotta get the music on. But listen, let me tell you something. We don't need no listen, I'll play the beat. I don't care. Riley, I love you, man. Listen, you are an amazing individual, Riley. First of all, I've been hanging out with you this week doing some work at your school with your man. Let me tell you something, man. You know, I found some music. Let me tell you something, Riley. You are amazing. You're amazing. Let's play our theme song, Riley. Let's play our theme song, Riley. Come on. Let's play it. Because you about to have work.
That's right.
We got to bring the theme song. Come on, sis. Yeah.
Hey,
We're going to Dr. Action. That's right,
right. Dr. Action is in the building. We in the building.
Let's go,
Let's work. Throw them balls. Throw them balls.
Elbows. Oh man. First of all, let me just say this. Woo! Dr. Action.
Yes.
Yo, Dr. Action, you are amazing.
I appreciate it. It's an honor.
Yeah, you are amazing. I don't even know when do you sleep? I just want to know, when do you sleep? I just want to know, do you sleep?
You know, it's been said so many times that when you're doing what you love, it doesn't even feel like work. You just have the energy to do it. And I've been blessed right now to walk into my calling, into my purpose, and doing what I love. So I don't even know. I was talking to one of my good friends, my editor of the show, and he was like, yo, I don't need to sleep. I don't need to sleep. Bronx MC. He was like, I don't even need to sleep. And I was like, I feel you.
Let me ask you a question. There's so much to unpack here, man, when it comes to your story. I mean, we're not going to get through it all in one show, but, I know we have another guest coming later. So let me try to get a couple questions in before the guest come in and wild out of here. So, let me ask you a question. You're an educated woman, obviously. You have a PhD. Is that a PhD? Which is your PhD in, Josh?
So it's the EDD, there's this controversy out there, the EDD versus the PhD. Well, I have an EDD because I'm a doctor of education. Okay, so that is what I have. So I got my EDD.
That's what I'm saying. Doctor.
Right, I'm a doctor of education, educational leadership. Let's be specific. And I got it from the Sage Colleges of Albany in New York.
So what drove you to get it? What drove you to ADD? What made you do it?
So what actually happened was I was in school and I started to begin to look forward and in my vision and begin to see, all right, so when my educational career comes to a close, what exactly what I'm going to be doing? I could retire in a couple of years. I know I look good, y'all, but yes, I could retire in a couple of years. And I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to continue my work? And in education, one of the next things that will open up more doors for you is when you get your terminal degree. So I said, let me get my terminal degree, put that stamp on what I've done all these years. And then it turned into what we are having today. Dr. Reilly, the Ask Dr. Reilly show, the Ask Dr. Reilly just has blown up. So that word, those two little letters in that dot.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you a choice because, the boss, the eye in the sky, has just stepped into the building. So there's no way we're going to delay him. Because I think it's important that we bring the eye in the sky. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way, we can't even talk about his accomplishments. I just call him my brother. He is one of the greatest dudes in entertainment and media, mogul himself. He's done it all. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to welcome the great, the one and only, Damon Dash. Won't you come on to the building, Dame? I know you're back there. What's up, Dame?
What up, brother?
What's happening? How you doing?
All right, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. I love this.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We love you.
Yeah,
I love you. I love y'all. I don't want Laze to get mushy.
Nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm glad to see you, Dame. First of all, I want to ask you, Dame, what interested you in the whole OSG movement? I just want to ask you that question first.
Well, initially, I didn't really know what I was walking into. I was just blindly getting on the Zoom because you asked me to, because we're brothers like that. You got to excuse my talk, and I'm getting used to.
You got grills in?
Yeah. It's for the movie. I'm doing a movie, so I'm in character.
Dame is shooting a movie right now, in case y'all didn't know. He's perpetually shooting movies and things of that nature. So right now, he's shooting a big movie right now. So I appreciate him taking his time to come on the Raw Respect and kick it with Dr. Ash.
You supposed to be sipping?
Oh, listen. Yeah, we already here, Dame. We ain't playing.
This is water. This is water, but it says I'm thankful.
Hold on, you sip. That might be vodka.
No.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So when I first got there, and I saw that these were all principals, and the fact that they really care and the things they were doing. Number one, I had never seen any black principals, and number two, I had never really seen so many people really care, other than myself. And then I was really happy how swaggy the principals were, and once I was really aware of the problems. Like, I know the problems, but I want solutions. And what I saw with 90 principles was nothing but solutions. And also having the ability to talk to people that can listen more than 9 times. Like you say it one time and they get it and they understand it. And, you know, even though at times there could be emotion, at the end of the day, the logic kicks in quickly. You know? So just dealing with real, like, strong women, real men, that's not something I'm not accustomed to because it's a cloth that most aren't cut from. But also, I saw the need for them to be rewarded on some level. I thought, like, yo, these are our celebrities. These are our superheroes that no one talks about. So if I have a platform at this age, I'm going to showcase the people that I know when they get the rock, when they get the platform, they're going to help others, not only themselves, but they also deserve to have their dreams come true. And the things and the discipline that they have for the education and the whole process, the day-to-day of it all, they do way more work than most corporate CEOs that are running billion-dollar companies. And at any point in time, if any one of them feel like not being, you know, working as a principal, they could always come run one of my companies, you know? And then with the solutions, that's 90 schools that I don't, like, my thing is not to depend on our oppressor to help us. The narrative should be we help us. We are the strength. So being able to have access to the school so that I can help them. Like we building out, you know, we going school by school. We building
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to my school. Mm-hmm.
We building Dr. Reilly's school out right now.
We're building.
With no asking, the funds are there. We gotta So instead of me complaining about the education as it is, because I also, when I remember being a child, and I don't remember being taught how to pay taxes. I don't remember being taught how to lie before law. I don't remember being taught how to farm, how to code, how to be an entrepreneur. All I was told was if you don't go to college, you're not right. If you don't sit behind a desk 8 hours a day while the sun is out, then something's wrong with you. You have ADD. And the only way that you're going to be successful, because you know you're going to be programmed to have a 9 to 5, is if you play basketball or football. So let me provide that distraction for you, so that you put all your, instead of paying attention to education, you put all your attention to a sport, even though it's lotto. And when you get to a place where you can't get to that dream, you're not prepared. And I've seen it happen over and over again. And
let me tell you something. This is the Dame that everybody knows. This is the Dame that I know. You have to understand something. Dame, like, it's hard because it's almost redundant. Because I just want to stop before so the audience can get it.
Let me just wrap it up.
All right. This much.
What I was saying is with these principles, even though they're knowing everything, they really want to change it. They see these principles don't want to fit in. They really want to help the kids, and they know what's wrong with the system. And they're like, yo, if the system won't help the kids, then we will. You know? And they're providing the real education, despite the one that's just given within the school rules. They take care of these children, and they also worried about what goes on when they're not in school. You know, they understand that school is a safe place for some of those kids. So they make sure they provide that comfort for them as well. So, you know, Dennis, Laze, Dr. Action, who just when I was like, yo, you're brilliant. You needed to do a TV show. She did 6 episodes a week later. The set was being run better than mine. You know what I mean? I'm like, what is this shit? You know, no one does that. So that's why I love being with these principals. And also every time I talk to them, I learn something, I get smarter. But, you know, it's like a fair exchange. They teach me, I teach them. My thing is a principal, and all these principals need to be rich. Because it's hard to teach somebody how to be rich unless you've been rich. And all of them is on their way. They got books, TV shows, the gear is popping, and Poppington. It's a lifestyle. The new fly is intelligence. You know, the new aspiration, the new Louboutin is that OSG. That means you're rich up here. And that's the new cool. And that's what I'm distributing because I know I'm the coolest. So if I say it, everybody else is going to do it. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, I ain't going to say nothing, Dame. I mean, listen, you said it all, brother. You said it all, man. You have to understand, man, like I've known Dame for a lot of years, man, and he's been the same exact person from the day I met him. This guy's an amazing dude, man, and it's almost redundant. So when I give it to him, he's like, man, stop being so sensitive, Laze. But you got to understand, we honor you. And
you be talking about throwing man showers and shit. And I love Dame and all. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you going to make that movie, ain't you, though? Ain't you going to make that movie?
That's going to be a movie.
That's going to be a movie, nigga.
Get rich right now. It's definitely getting rich.
That's going to be a blockbuster. Hey, Dame, I'm going to make you more money than you going to make me. How about that? How about that? That's a bet.
Right
That's
now,
a bet.
Angelique's the star of the movie. She getting her hair done. Hi. And then after this, I'm going to do my rock show. You know, but basically, I appreciate everything you said. And you know, life's supposed to be lived, and you're supposed to have fun every day. So I'm doing it. Everything I'm doing for money, I would do for free. And I just think everyone should understand the secret. That's the key. Follow your happiness in your heart. And if you're working toward helping yourself, that's the only real way to help others. You don't know how to love yourself. There's no way you can know how to love somebody else.
Facts.
That's why I know how to love so well, because I love the fuck out of myself.
Nice. We love you too, brother. You know that.
I love you all.
Love you too, Dame.
Taking over the whole world.
Yes, we are. Yes.
I love
Thank
what
you,
y'all
brother.
doing when you turn this into a TV show, but you got to drink some wine.
I don't drink wine. I'm drinking water. My grandma. Okay, so here we go. My
We just
grandmother.
drink wine, Riley. So we'll stop playing.
Wait, no,
Jesus.
my grandmother who passed away on, during COVID, but it's okay. Used to call it city gin. So that is what I'm drinking. I'm drinking city gin. That's my liquor of choice.
Nice.
I just said sipping makes you think, all right, cool. I'll bring a wine cooler next time.
Or I could do a Shirley Temple. That's my mixed drink.
Yeah, I'll bring Tallulah.
Shirley Temple.
I'll bring Tallulah, my daughter. I'll bring her next time.
That soda works than the wine. You should drink the wine. Forget that soda.
You gotta see the project, bro. Oh my God, it's crazy.
Coming out, Dame. I know that. I can't wait.
I'm getting good. I got it. It's just incredible. So I hope everybody gets the same energy. My shit should be contagious. If you ain't hustling hard right now, if you don't come out of Corona stronger, then you got to look at yourself like a soldier. But a general looks forward to a war. He trains for it. He wants it. And then everyone else that's not ready, then they got to just bow down and just sit down. You know what I mean? And that's what's happening. It's a time for generals to get money. So look at all the things OSG did in Corona. 90 generals. 90. All
Can we get to the thing that I did during Corona?
You did. I really spoke. You did like. Okay.
No, we're supposed to be showing the show today.
You did just.
And you wrote
6 episodes of a TV show. You did a cartoon. I feel like you're writing a book. And then I can't even keep up with you. You was the Pope. Once you did it first, no one had no more excuses. You was Dr. Action off top. That's why that's your name. And it's a comic book coming through, a kid's book, right? Coming with that.
Yeah.
Is this a double?
I'm actually doing a coloring book right now.
It's amazing. See, action. This is what we're talking about, man. Dame is coming through.
What we're talking about. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing, though. The bottom line is, this is something that you can't get. You know what I'm saying? This is something that nobody can get. This is Dame Dash uncut. That's what we like him, uncut. This is a real general at work here. About it. If you ain't about it, he don't want to talk to you. It's about it.
Not at all. If you ain't about that action, I don't want to talk to you. I see the doctor of action.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What? Dame gone? What you doing, Dame? He went out. He went to the movie. It's crazy. Dame Dash, man. Plus, my man Dame Dash. He came in the building and did what he did. We should congratulate the world perspective. Shout out to my MOP First family. And it's good to see Dame back in. Like I said, when I called him, I was excited about it. And so, to why we're here. We are going to premiere the first episode of Ask Dr. Reilly live on YouTube. So, Smitty, if you got it, let's put it up, watch it. We're going to sip and rest about it a little bit. Uncle Laze in the building. Dr. Action, what's up?
What's up?
Do we have
TD.
Do we have the clip, guys? Do we have the clip? There we go. It's coming up. Oh, world premiere. Let's go. We get that world premiere going. That Big Dash Studios in there real quick. I like that.
Welcome to the Dr. Reilly Show.
Turn that volume up if you could.
I'm your host,
Try to be up here for the music.
Dr. Anissa Reilly.
Hey, y'all, mute the mics if you can, so we can hear the
Hello,
show.
everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Reilly Show. I'm your host, Dr. Anissa Reilly, and it is an honor and a privilege to have you join us today as we talk about a very important and sensitive topic, issues about sexual trauma. That's right, you heard me, sexual trauma. So today we have a guest with us who's going to walk us through sexual trauma. Her name is Nikki Brown, also known as the Coochie Coach. Nikki, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Reilly.
I am so glad and happy that you agreed to join us today to talk about a very important topic, sexual trauma. So my first question to you would be, what does sexual trauma mean to you?
Sexual trauma. Well, first of all, for me, they're two different things until they're merged. So sexual is a whole one experience, right? So that can be pleasant. That can be enjoyable. That's something that we invite into our lives, right? And then there's the traumatic piece, the piece that when it's not wanted, when it's invasive and someone comes into your space that you didn't require or ask them or any of that, and then they are merged together and then it becomes something altogether different. And so it is unwanted experience, but the traumatic part is the impact on the person. Like, how do they deal with this experience? How did this happen? Am I at fault? All these kinds of questions that comes up when someone is impacted by sexual trauma.
And what's so interesting about those terms and the way you described it so vividly, I think everyone is clear now about what sexual trauma is that women, 1 in 5 women are victims or experience sexual trauma.
Absolutely.
And I know that you are part of that statistic. So can you just share a little bit about your experience?
Well, one, I want to say something about statistics, because I have these statistics that I say when I speak in front of audiences, and I use this thing. It's every 97 seconds, someone is impacted by something that I call sexually mishandled. So we throw sexual trauma in there, but sexually mishandled could be anything from somebody fondled you that you didn't want to somebody actually took a part of your body in a way that you didn't want it to happen. So that's every 97 seconds, someone is having that experience, right? And then 97% of teenagers, right, are experiencing what they call premarital sex. I don't know what that is because most people ain't getting married. And when they do, 50% of them are getting a divorce, but whatever, right? So every 97% are experiencing that. And then you have another 97% of some other number I can't remember, but it's like something that's happening often, right? But what's not happening is like there's not a 97% of people are telling
a
right?
story.
97% of these people are getting victories over it, but people are suffering.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times it is imperative that we have safe spaces. When someone says, this has happened to me, how are they received, right? Are they looked at like, what the hell did you do?
And let me stop you right there, because when you talk about a safe space, that's the reason why we wanted to create this platform today, so that people can know that, yes, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to share. It's important to talk about it. It's important to share. And you're not alone.
Exactly.
And those of us who have experienced some type of sexual trauma or sexual mishandling, okay, so I think that's important for people to understand. There's a sexual mishandling involved in this too, that there is an opportunity for us to be successful and not get stuck as trauma often does to certain people.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so you're 1 or 97 second mishandling.
I'm a statistic, but I'm a variety of statistics. So I feel like, you know, my 97 seconds happened when I was 8, right? Another 97 seconds happened. I know what it was. It was like every 97 seconds, somebody gets an STD or something. It's like all kinds of statistics that are happening. So yeah, but for me, it has been, I would have to say, I had trauma that I didn't know about, right? That's called a blind spot. You got things that are happening in your life and you don't even know why, right? And so my 97 second happened at age 8, but I didn't think anything was different. But my behavior, when I look back at it, from 8 to probably 19 was reckless. But I thought, hey, I'm good. I'm going to school. I'm doing all the right things. I didn't see that as a problem. It wasn't until I started to really focus in on that issue that I was like, oh, snap, this really had an impact on my life. And so I began to address it.
So you said at 8, so a lot of women had a sexual mishandling or a traumatic experience under the age of 10. Can you just give us a little understanding of what that looks like so we can be clear in our minds as to what happened?
Well, what it typically looks like, it's a family member. It's someone close by. It's someone you trust, right? Because that's a big thing. When you're little, you trust everybody. And back then, I'm saying back then like I'm mad old, but we are. But in the 70s, it was, you can trust your cousin. You can trust your uncle. You can trust, like all of that. And they also force children to hug people, right? Oh, go hug so-and-so. Oh, go sit on so-and-so's lap. And there was no thing, right? Whereas now they're like, if a kid or a child is like, hey, I don't feel the vibe, then we are encouraged not to support that. And we are encouraged to support the child. And so then it wasn't that, right? It was, you can trust these family members and you can go and be in their company. And so for me, it was, I couldn't tell my mother. My mother, come on, you know my mother.
I know your mother.
So my mother was not the type, and she was a single parent. Right. How do you come home and tell your single parent that somebody we thought we could trust has done this thing? I already have this absentee other parent. So I'm going to now risk because my mother's the type that believed me, right? And would kill.
And it's funny you said, I read something where, from a parent's good heart place, they tell their child, if someone does something wrong to you, if someone touches you inappropriately, let me know because I'm going to kill them. And I heard a victim of sexual trauma say, the reason why they never told was because they knew their father was going to go to jail if they killed that person.
I don't even need saying that's it.
So in the parent's mind, the parent was doing what he or she knew to protect their baby. But from the child's perspective, it meant my parent could go to jail and I'm going to lose my parent.
Absolutely.
So we need to think about how we are assisting our babies and children and women, what we're talking about today, more specifically, to give them the tools and the strategies and the language to do that.
That's the word, language. How are we languaging our support? Because for me, I did like you're saying, I immediately said, oh no, I can't tell my mother. She's going to go to jail because my mother's the type that will kill a mother if they mess with me, right? So mommy's going to go to jail. I'm going to be raised by God knows who, the molester's family. Right. Oh, hell no, we can't let that happen. So let me be quiet about it. So can I fast forward a little bit?
Yeah, because my question was going to be, so how did you know you were in the mess? Like, when did the realization happen for you that you were in a state of mess?
I was 14. I knew something was off. I was sexually
promiscuous,
belligerent. I don't even know if the word was promiscuous. Promiscuous is the cute way of saying it, but I think that I was just reckless. And I was reckless thinking that I was being responsible or thinking that I was acting out in my own way because this is what I thought I wanted to do. But I was 14 years old. And I was in school. My mother paid for tuition. So I was in Catholic school. I was this safe space, so it seemed. And then one day, because I was acting out so much, one of the nuns invited me to therapy. And it was group therapy. And my friends were in group therapy. And so I was like, oh, good. We get to go on Fridays and we get lollipops. I was there for the Charms lollipop. I was in theater.
Those are good lollipops,
right? I was there for the blow pop. I was like, okay, I'm going to get a blow pop. All I got to do is sit through this 50 minutes and get my reward.
This is what kings and queens do. This is absolutely normal. And I believed it. I believed that this was something that just happened to to children. As I got older, it got more progressive. At age 15, he had sex with me. It was so much brainwashing to the point where I didn't even love myself. It made me promiscuous. It made me think that drugs were the only way out. It's like I was looking for love in all the wrong places. So I had to forgive him and move on. I'm glad to know that there's somebody that understands what it means to have your everything stripped from you. I just think it's just the best organization that they could have for people that are afraid to run, people are afraid to tell. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to tell.
So I was 14, right? I was reckless. I was in therapy, group therapy. That was like important to me. And so that is how it all started, I think. I think at 14, I started to become at least aware that something was probably awry. I mean, I really didn't address it until later on. I feel like I was resisting it for a really long time because there was who else? I mean, I didn't really talk about it even in therapy. Like I would go and we would talk about something completely different and it would turn into a conversation about our parents. So it's like a bunch of teens talking about their parents. And we're not going to talk about how
that's our parents impact.
Hello, right? The trauma really where it all begins. So yeah.
So I heard you say that the behavior that you displayed around 14, a little bit younger, although it may seem like this is who I am, this is the type of person that I am, see me, hear me, because it was so belligerent, as you say, or negligent or reckless, that is the first sign that there's something happening. And I appreciate the fact that there was an educator in your life that came in and recognized that you needed some additional assistance.
Absolutely.
And even going to therapy at 14 is not something that we do as a people, as a people of color.
And definitely not Black people.
And not Black, but for you as 14 to say, I'm gonna go. But if it was Charms Lollipops that bring you, then go get the Charms Lollipops and get some help.
Exactly. I mean, whatever it's going to take.
So now we fast forward to now we're an adult. So can we share how those foundational experiences and how they were brought into your adulthood?
Oh, I mean, well, I have to say, I think that I have always naturally been the kind of person that wanted answers to things. Like, I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to say the thing that nobody's going to say. I'm going to make the room totally uncomfortable, but y'all going to deal with this, right? There's no way that I probably could have been here without that 14-year-old experience. Even if I didn't go do anything after that, that foundation of there's another way to deal and handle. So I did some transformational work at like 35, so 14 to 35.
21 years.
That I finally was like, okay, I'm going to address this. And I sent a letter to my abuser. An email, no doubt.
Ooh, that's deep.
And hell, I was just learning how to use email at 35. I was like, yeah, I know it's been around for a while, but I'm,
Wow.
So I sent an email. I don't know how I got his email address.
Let me pause you there for 1 second.
Yeah.
We got to take a minute right there because that is a moment of courage.
This would go on for hours, and when I would cry or when I would scream or when I would struggle, he'd like hit me over and over and over again to break me. After being married to someone who was abusive for 15 years, I walked away with nothing. I decided I was going to heal myself. I would become a champion. I would take all this hurt, all this pain, and turn it into something uniquely positive. Or when someone calls you and takes you back to that place, like I feel like my heart could just come out of my chest sometimes. When you let go of shame, you're free.
So writing a letter to your abuser takes courage. So just can you share with us with that letter?
Well, first of all, I have to say, like I said, I did this transformational work, right? And so at 35, and if at 14 I started the therapy that I didn't continue, but 35 going to this transformational session, there was a letter writing portion. And so we did letters like to our parents and, you know, all that, like healing your childhood. So I was like, okay, great. Then I was like, what if I wrote a letter to old dude? So I did that. And in the letter, I basically took it. Now, it was my cousin. He's 16, I'm 8. Y'all know the math.
Always happens.
Right? So for me, it was like, you was an old mofo. You knew better. There ain't no accident, ain't no oops, right? So in my mind, it was, I needed to clear that. I didn't know that was a thing. Now I knew it was a thing that had been playing out.
So let me stop you right there because I think that's important, because sometimes 8-year-old children or even young children think that it's acceptable when a family member that's a little bit older than you does that.
Absolutely.
So not knowing it was a thing at 8 is permission to realize that you can now know as an adult, I need some help.
Well, here, the other part I want to say about being sexually mishandled, fondled, whatever the hell people want to try to segment it, is that there's a part of your body that likes it. It's totally wrong what's happening, but there's a part of you that's like, well, maybe it feels good. I'm a human being. And in my case, it was like, oh, I identified that I probably like boys. He just happened to be not the boy I should probably have a liking for. And so by the time I get to 35 and I want to describe to him in this letter, because I started telling him, remember when I was 8? Yeah, you were 16. But I said it in my wonderful Dean of Student Affairs
35-year-old
voice, but very descriptive.
Impact.
Exactly. Like, I was 8, you were 16, and this went on from 8 to like 13 or something. So it's like I had to give him that.
So let me stop you. So you said from 8 to 13. So was it just sexual mishandling? Was it intercourse? What?
Are you at, because you know I'm gonna come back with another question. I know what you're asking, but are you asking was his penis? No, his penis never was in me. That not that, right? But it was my 16-year-old cousin.
Right. So that's so we can be clear about what happened, so that way we know what was he doing.
Touching me, feeling me, hands all up in me. But here's what I want to say, because I need parents to understand this, right? Because the question you ask is what my cousin wanted to know later on in life when I said to her, yo, your cousin is trifling. Or when I said to his sister, your brother needs to be checked.
And the reason why I want to stop us here and really make this clear is that there are a certain sect of people who believe if there's no penetration, then nothing happened.
If there's no penis to vagina, or penis to anus, right? Or women do it to boys, right? We think that if that didn't happen, then it's not really molestation. Oh, it wasn't that bad. It's like saying to a person who gets violent, gets assaulted by their husband. So, well, he just cursed you out. Yes. He ain't really punch you in your face.
Right. Well, that's your husband. How can he really do something?
Right. But his words are just as deadly as his fists punching you in your jaw and making you having to get it rewired.
So that's why I want us to pause right here so we could be clear that good touch, bad touch. That's how we teach 5-year-olds, good touch, bad touch. And so just because there is no penis to vagina interaction, penetration, or anywhere else, that doesn't mean that you are a victim.
Absolutely. And hand to vagina is victimization all the same. Because if it's not warranted, if I didn't ask you, if I'm not consenting to this, then there is an invasion, right, of my innocence, if for nothing else. Yeah. Right? Because I didn't know anything about that. I just know about me having my own body and keeping it pushing. And so I think, that's what I talk about just in general. I share my story because I think that other people get an opportunity to get free from their story. But I also don't try to minimize what happened, because that's what the people who didn't have the experience do. Right. So I can't re-victimize, re-traumatize my own damn self and trying to act like the story wasn't that deep. And my cousin would be like, well, did he? Well, Nikki, he did, well, did he? I said, chick, he's 8 years older than me. Now, if I tried to date somebody 8 years older than me,
there would be a problem.
At 16, my mother would have been like, no, you ain't bringing that man in here to do nothing, right? So the same is true when you're 8. Right.
So congratulations on you, Dr. Reilly. It's such a powerful episode. This is your boy Uncle Laze in the Raw Perspective. Shout out to my OSG First family. Shout out to my MOP First family. Let me just say this before we move forward. I know she's in the building. Can we please bring in the Coochie Coach? My sister, I can call her my sister now. The way she bears her soul was so amazing. Let's bring in the Coochie Coach, Miss Nikki Brown, everybody. Come on, let's bring her in. Nikki, where you at? I need to see you. What an amazing episode, Nikki. Nikki, how you doing? How you doing, sister? Turn your mic on, please, so I can hear you. Turn your mic on, please.
Turn your mic on.
Oh, she's talking. Turn the mic on, please. Unmute her microphone, please. Well, let me ask you a question, Dr. Reilly. You know, I don't know what happened, but beyond the technical, sister, Dr. Reilly, what did you, what made you do this as your first episode?
So, as a woman who has experienced trauma myself, and knowing the impact that trauma has on people, and more importantly, women, I felt it was necessary to take this one topic that we in our culture, more specifically the Black culture, tend to sweep under the rug, right? And we don't talk about it. Oh, that was Uncle so-and-so, or that was just Johnny, and whatever happens in the home, it stays in the home. But so many things are happening in the home that impacts us and stops us from moving forward. So being someone who has experienced a significant amount of trauma in her life and been able to still come out on the other side standing strong, I felt it was necessary to talk about this taboo topic, and the fact that this month, September, is Sexual Awareness Month. So what perfect opportunity to talk about that topic that we don't want to talk about, but we need to talk about because people are suffering in silence, and put it on the stage in a way that people can receive it and walk away with strength and dignity, and not just pain.
Well, let me tell you
and sorrow.
something. First of all, I mean, we're men. You have two men on this panel. And Dame left us. You know, Dame knew when to get out of here because we are absolutely thumbs to this. I'm going to turn this over to my sister, TD Loving, and she is a holistic healer. Her show, Fresh Start Focus, comes on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. every week. And you know, I know there's so many questions in the comment section. I just want to make sure that we get our questions out first. So, TD, if you have any questions for Dr. Reilly or the Coochie Coach, please let us know now, please. Okay, microphone. This is a new technology. We get the microphones working here. Turn the mics on.
Okay. I got it now. All right. It's I have a question.
You're on
for the
Nikki.
Coochie Coach. I have a question for the Coochie Coach.
Yes.
How have you in the work that you do? What are some of the things that you do to normalize the conversation about sexual violation, because it is very difficult for people to talk about, and it is, taboo for people to talk about in many communities, not just the Black community, other communities as well. What are some of the things that you have done as a coach to normalize that? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I hear you, Nikki.
Okay. Perfect. So, okay. So I heard parts of what you said, Tanya. So I heard you say normalize. That's the word that stuck out in my brain. So I'm a roll with normalize, right? What am I doing in my work to normalize basically sexual mishandling, right? Some woman, some man, some boy, some child being disrespected and violated, right?
That's right.
How I believe that I normalize it is that I am extremely candid and transparent about my life. And in doing that, because we come from a world of don't tell nobody what's going on in this house, right? What goes on here stays here. And if you tell anything that happens outside of here, you will be dealt with usually in a more abusive way, right? And so I believe that the way that we squash all of it is that somebody's got to be the interrupter. Somebody has to disrupt the thing that makes everybody comfortable, and I'm that person. And so by disrupting it and quote unquote making it normal, because there really is no normal, no two people have the same sexual experience and no two people have the same mishandled experience. But what we can see as a commonplace is that we all can say we felt violated. And from there, we can begin to talk.
I want to turn this question to Ray Abram as the only other man in this room, and we are way underqualified to even be in this room. And luckily, I am the host and Ray is my co-host. So just by default, we have to ask a couple of dumb questions, and just y'all don't try to slap us when we ask these questions. But Ray, I'm gonna give it to you first before I get to it, because I got a lot to talk to the coochie coach about.
Yeah. So is there a question? Are you going to ask a question?
I'm giving you a chance to ask your question. Yeah, Ray. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I guess the thing is did you repress, for the coochie coach, did you find yourself that you had repressed, what had happened to you, and did it resurface when you're in your 30s, or was it something that you always knew happened to you and you kind of dealt with it over the course of time?
That's a brilliant question. Repression was nowhere in my life. I was always present to what had happened. I just didn't have the words or how to express it, right? You heard me say when I was young, I was sexually belligerent. That was my expression in a negative way, right? But I did not repress it at all in the sense that, it never happened. Or some people forget, right? You could be so young when the experience takes place that it almost gets erased from your memory because it is so traumatic that the mind doesn't want to cope. Yes. I didn't have that experience. Mine was always right in the forefront, which is why when I got to a certain age, there was no hiding it anymore. My body, my spirit, my soul was like, you've got to do something with this, and you've got to do something great and positive about it.
That's good. Got it.
Well, first of all, I'm drinking some wine. I'm gonna drink some more wine before we get to this conversation.
I have some water with you.
OSG crew. Shout out. Oh, Riley, what you doing to me? This is crazy. Oh, my goodness. Let me just say this. I'm not worthy, but let me just say this. Nikki. Karen Banks in the house. Nikki, Toy Carter's in the house. Shout to Easy Breezy McKeezy. This is how I do my show. Shout to Bronx MC. Rick Arnett. Everybody Rec 101. I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for coming to the Raw Perspective. Lorraine Smith, a.k.a. Smitty. I see you, Smitty. You talk too much, Smitty. Love 590. We in the building. We just say this. The coochie coach. But I want to call you Nikki, but let me just say this, because there's so many different aspects to it. What I found, and sometimes what happens in situations where people are abused, men or women, and let me explain something to you. The onion layer of this Dr. Reilly show is going to open up. This is just the first episode, okay?
It's
all right. This is just day one, okay? Day one, we had Dana Dash. We had everybody in here is crazy, okay? This is day one.
Day one. You come through the gate. Okay, you come through the gate. Yes.
Yes, but let me just say this: do you find in some of the people that you deal with as they get older, because of the trauma that they've suffered because of sexual trauma, that they have trouble functioning as adults in a natural sexual life? And how do you help people that have problems functioning sexually as adults because of the problems they had as in their younger era? That's what I want to ask you.
Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I heard you, because you know this new technology might have me hearing one every word. Okay, great. So you
let me be clear. Hold on. Let me turn my mic up. Let me just
clear that mic up.
Here you go. Here we go. Here's the question. Do you find that in some of your travels as being the coochie coach, you have issues with people that, because of their sexual trauma, have issues functioning sexually as adults? And how do you handle that? And what advice would you give?
Okay. So it's my belief. Now, this is not a real fact. I'm getting ready to give you some Nikki statistics right now. I believe that we all have some version of what we call sexual trauma, sexual something that has us hiccup in the world of sex and intimacy. So maybe you saw your mother naked when you were 5. Nobody wants to see their mother naked if they're a little boy, right? Maybe you saw something that you should not have seen as a child, and that can sexually traumatize you in some way and have you now only want to experience life in a sexual way from one eye, one lens. And so when I am dealing with people who have been impacted from a variety of places, I tend to go back to the place that caused the trauma. And so what that may look like, I had a client who only wanted to, not only, but mostly wanted to have sex in like a car, right? And what I found out is that his first experience was with a prostitute in a car, right? So that meant every time he's interacting with a new partner, he almost has it psychologically, unconsciously, that he wants to relate to her like a prostitute, right? Like a hooker. He wants to recall that experience. He wants to remember what that sexual experience was like for him. Now, meanwhile, I would call that an unhealthy sexual experience for the first time. But for him, it was his first time. And because he didn't unpack it at any point in his life, that was normal for him. So with that, so back to the word normalize, we all normalize sex in our own way, given the area that we all started, depending on how much work we've done. So after we got to the root of his first experience, then we started to think about, okay, what is it that really matters to you in an interaction, right? In a sexual experience? What are you looking for? Because we all know what we like. We just don't always have words to coincide with it. So we talked about that, right? We dealt with, what does he really like? Does he have a partner that he can safely talk about this with? Because again, you could have these desires, but if your partner is not on par with what you want, then it is going to be more sexual dysfunction, more sexual drama and trauma. So yeah, for me, it's about bringing language to the experience so that we can then deal with all of the other stuff.
I got another question. Where can we find the coochie coach? Because I think that your services are needed in our community, because we have a tremendous amount of sexual trauma in our community. Where can we find you?
You said, where can you find me?
We find you. We find
you. I mean, I'm everywhere. I feel like I'm on Instagram, right? I said on a Dr. Reilly show, like, I'm personal. Now I'm gonna give you my number, but it's not gonna be my personal number. But you can call me, right? So I'm old-fashioned. Hit me on IG, but I like a phone call. So 646-399-3352. And that is because I believe when people are having experiences that are sexually traumatic, they don't want to text you. They want to hear a live person that they
If you want to find the coochie coach, I'm sorry, Nick, I just want to don't forget it. It's 646-399-3352. Is that correct?
3352, yes.
Yes, 646-399-3352. If you want to catch up with the coochie coach and let her help you, because listen, we all need someone to talk to, and better to talk to somebody that has been through these things that can help you have these conversations. Let me tell you something. As a man, I'm not equipped to understand sexual trauma as it pertains to women. So I have to sort of default to the bosses here. And I want to turn the conversation to Dr. Reilly. Dr. Reilly, you know you done started something, right?
Yes, and I am proud that I've started what they want to call it. The revolution will not be televised, but the sexual revolution will be.
Exactly. You understand?
Well, let me say this.
The sexual revolution will be televised.
The women are going to fix the world. And because we, as men, we've been screwing it up. And we are your shield, and you guys are the swords. You go out there, you make it happen, and our job is to protect y'all. So I'm always going to protect you, Reilly. I'm going to protect you, Tanya. And guess what, my sis? We're going to protect the coochie coach, too. We got
You better.
This is Uncle Laze.
Laze, so we have another episode coming out this Monday.
Oh, yeah.
So episode two of the Ask Dr. Reilly show will be coming out Monday on Facebook. About to say Facebook, on YouTube. Lord, get it right. On YouTube at Ask Dr. Reilly. Ask Dr. Reilly on YouTube. Episode 2, Dr. Hunter will be our guest, and her story is another story that talks about growing up in the Caribbean islands in Jamaica and what happened while she was there, because her mother had to go abroad to find work, so she was left behind. And so that's a story that so many families have lived. So she lived in Jamaica. Her mother had to go abroad to find work, and she was left home on the island with family members, and the traumas that she experienced by that.
So Tanya, I know that
the Dr. Reilly show.
Next time on the Ask Dr. Reilly show, we have guest Dr. Maloney Hunter as she sits down and describes how she overcame sexual trauma.
I had to teach myself how to forgive and move on. I've learned to not take ownership of it at all. So once I did that was when I learned how to forgive him.
I'm your host, Dr. Anissa Reilly.
Yeah, we are brand new. We got everything now. It's crazy. I love it. I want to make some more perspective. Shout out to my OSC crew. Shout out to my MOP First Families. He just said, I want to thank y'all all for coming. TD, as a former Jamaica, and you are from the island of Jamaica, you can relate to the story 100%. I know we need to have enough time to tell your story. It's amazing what you guys go through, but we are here to learn, and that's important, man. And I want to thank the Coochie Coach, Nikki Brown. I just want to call you Nikki, my sister Nikki. I don't want to call you Coochie Coach, even though that's your name.
You could call me your sister, the coach. I mean, the Coochie Coach. It's the reason why I make people say it, because it makes you create some type of new form of language and speaking. We're not comfortable relating to the female in such a powerful, positive way. So I am transforming that. We are normalizing this right here.
But can I be honest for a second? That coochie is the most powerful thing on the planet, by the way.
Come on now.
Come on with me, yeah. It's the most powerful thing on the planet. You got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, this is just such a powerful show. Congratulations, Dr. Reilly.
Thank you.
The launch. This is awesome. I'm so excited for all the women that you're going to save, all the folks, and not necessarily women, because I think there are men who will get healed from this too.
That coochie ain't no joke.
Yeah, man. That's a blessing. So thanks everybody. This has been a wonderful show, and thank you for listening.
And with the Ask Dr. we'll be on Tanya's show, Tanya's iHeartRadio show coming up.
Nice.
Yes.
Any closing words, T?
I just want to thank Dr. Reilly for the work that you're doing to bring forth these topics that need to be addressed. I want to thank the Coochie Coach for being so empowered that you're going to empower so many other women to work both of you. I admire you and I congratulate you on this work. Women need women to support women in this way. And so kudos and congrats again.
Thank you, Tanya.
So let me just end this off by saying this is my perspective. Like I said, we don't have all the answers. We got nothing but questions, but we got to ask God and He'll give you the answers. I want to thank Dr. Reilly. I want to thank Nikki Brown, a.k.a. the Coochie Coach. I want to thank Ray Abram, Dick Shock Rabin, my brother. I want to thank my sister, T.D. Lovin, a.k.a. Tanya Hazelhurst Dawkins. This is our first enclave into YouTube. I want to thank Lydia and the whole StreamYard crew and my man Smitty, who runs the show for real. And I want to give a special shout out to my brother, Dennis McKeezy, a.k.a. Easy Reezy McKeezy, and my whole entire OSG First family and my MOP firing squad. God is good, y'all. We just getting started. That's my perspective. This is the raw perspective, and we out. We love y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all have a great day. It's beautiful out here, y'all. We just getting started. We ain't playing. Let's go to work, y'all. We ain't playing. Uncle Laze in the building. Love y'all.